Chess or Tetris? If you had to pick one to play, what would you pick? I'm going to assume you're familiar with both and you may have a preference, but for me, it's always been a tough call. In ways, they're similar, with chess being the all-time best-selling board game and Tetris being one of the best-selling video games ever. You play with pieces whose movements and positions need to be managed to continue. Both games test your reactions, requiring decision-making that can either make or break your chances of success. Yet, they're also different. Tetris is a fast-paced, mostly single-player experience, increasing in speed as you progress, but the mechanics are pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. Chess, on the other hand, can be slow-paced and shockingly complex, especially when playing against a new opponent, with variations and strategies that deepen the more you learn. Both are absolute masterclasses at what they do and allow for hundreds of hours of replayability. So why compare the two and ask what is better? I want to get good, and I need to choose which to invest my time in. I have a history with both games. Chess, I was an accomplished grade school champion of the 5 kids in my class. And Tetris, I played that so much on my dad's old Game Boy when I was younger. So in my brain, the only option is to have them face off in a head-to-head matchup to determine which is superior, in my very subjective opinion. Take any arrows on my part as a chance to further educate me on your favorite game. If you want to give your opinion, well, let me know. And if you disagree with mine, you can let me know that too. With a history spanning hundreds of years, from the evolution of each one of the pieces and the rules that gives us the classical format today, chess seems easily poised to win this one. You can find articles online uncovering the history of chess and its predecessors going back hundreds of years, and if you consider popularity to be rooted in cultural impact, chess would easily take the cake. Even as Tetris passes 520 million units sold across 50 different platforms, and it is available on any modern cell phone where there have been more than 650 million downloads, it cannot hold a candle to the amount of chess games played both in person and online over the years. But what if we consider the variations of chess against the variations of Tetris? Tetris has some variations and iterations of its popular format, yet the gameplay itself across different systems and versions can be pretty similar. The goal of the game is to prevent the blocks from stacking up all the way to the top for as long as possible. Maybe in 1,000 years someone will invent a new Tetris, or the original creator will finally release that multiplayer version they've been working on, but the version everyone's familiar with continues to reign supreme. When you think of Tetris, you think of one thing. Chess has variations that result in matches that feel and play almost completely different. You probably could make the argument that most people, when they think of chess, think of the classical version, but there are also time variants like Bullet and Blitz that drastically change the way the game is played and how decisions are made. Other popular versions like Chess 960 further switch it up. Especially with the advent of online chess, maybe classical has been overtaken by other variants. Blitz is the most popular of the time controlled on chess.com. Chess, it seems, is still a thinking game, but it's becoming faster, kind of like Tetris. Chess is arguably more popular than it ever has been today, and that, combined with history, wins at the popularity point. Now, for a game to be accessible, it needs to be easy to learn and available to the most people to be played. Tetris starts strong as a simple yet addictive puzzle game. There are only so many types of blocks, or tetraminos as they're apparently called. There's only 7 standard ones, each with an area of 4 squares, not much to wrap your head around. Each piece moves the same, it's just the shape that's relevant. These pieces in the standard version appear randomly, fallen from the top, where any number of different combinations can be used to achieve your goal of creating a line. The game proceeds whether you like it or not, and the concept of rotating shapes back and forth is easy. There's not much of an end game, you just need to beat your high score, meaning anyone can play and everyone will eventually lose. That's just part of the game. It's also a game that you can play by yourself, which makes playing it potentially less intimidating than chess, where you have to face off against an opponent and maybe be embarrassed. As you increase the amount of lines cleared, the speed increases, making reactions more difficult. You can plan to make more lines or pray that you get the piece you need, but as the game gets faster, you will increasingly rely on just reacting to whatever piece you have rather than concocting a long-term plan. With chess, you have 16 pieces on your sides across 6 different types, all with their own movement patterns. You also have to think about the other 16 pieces across the way, with a lot more strategy available in a standard game as you take all the time you need to plan, and then the plan falls apart and you have to adapt. You can also really benefit from learning new openings and the rules of each piece. The first one to use their pieces to checkmate the other king wins, with opportunities for a draw or stalemate if a certain game criteria is met. Both games may be considered easy to learn and difficult to master, but which is easier? Chess seems to me to be the more difficult of the two, with a long-term strategy throughout the beginning, middle, and end game needed in order to excel. Tetris, you're really just playing yourself, trying to beat your own score, so as long as you're a merciful opponent, you can keep having fun. There's also a bit of luck involved. Whether I get that coveted line piece can really make or break the game. Chess is all skills from the beginning, no luck necessary. You're in a constant battle of wits, and there are nearly an infinite amount of variations of pieces that can be moved. When it comes to availability, both games are available worldwide and benefit from being able to be used across culture and language. Tetris is only available online, yet is available on most modern electronics. Guinness World Records recognize Tetris as the most ported video game in history. It can be played solo and probably won't take you as long as a game of chess. Chess being available in physical board form and online is great, but you need an opponent. Its availability has skyrocketed with apps and websites, but I gotta give the point to Tetris for being simple to play and universally available in our day and age. Both of these games have potentially massive brain benefits. We are only beginning to tap the surface of what these games can do for us. Chess has the power to improve memory, it deepens focus, elevates creativity, boosts planning skills, increases self-awareness, and maybe even protects against dementia. You get that creativity flowing when it comes to problem solving, and then you're thinking from all different angles. There's also an entire history and culture to chess that you can dive into to see proto-chess setups and understand its unique history. It's a way to connect with the world around us. With all that, chess is also a stressful endeavor, especially if you want to get good. Well-laid plans can evaporate and be frustrating, and exploring everything that chess has to offer requires a near limitless amount of time. Tetris helps increase memory capacity and brain efficiency, has been shown to prevent the development of traumatic memories, and can block addiction cravings. But Tetris itself is also considered potentially addictive. In fact, Tetris pioneered a psychological phenomenon called the Tetris effect. Basically, where engaging in repetitive tasks like descending blocks in neat rows alters your brain chemistry. Play it enough and you see Tetris everywhere you go. The world becomes floating blocks and colorful patterns. Is that a scary nightmare or an opportunity? The Tetris effect allows for the development of new neural pathways and cognitive abilities. You can experience the same thing while playing chess, but since it's named after Tetris, I gotta say that the effect is probably more pronounced there. Truthfully, both games have benefits in different ways, and while Tetris may have gotten the edge with the Tetris effect being so highly studied, I don't think it sounds 100% healthy or helpful either. So, it's a tie, and that means I need a tiebreaker. Both of these games have too many benefits to count, so I'm going to find as many as I can in a short amount of time. Figured the easiest way to do this was just to hop on Google Scholar and give myself 5 minutes for each game to see how many brain benefits I could find. Repeats don't count, it's gotta be unique. I just Googled chess brain benefits and then Tetris brain benefits, and after 5 minutes each, I came across 13 chess benefits, and for Tetris, I found 7. Unfortunately for Tetris, many of the surveys and studies claimed one thing but found the results to be inconclusive, so I didn't include them. Seems the research around Tetris needs to catch up a little bit. Chess has been around for too long and been too highly studied. Take some time and look into the studies, they're actually fascinating to review. This means point goes to chess and they win. I will be pledging my afternoons to get good at chess, so follow along to see my journey as I start watching Gotham chess shorts on repeat, I guess. I was thinking of adding a bonus round reviewing the best chess and Tetris movie, so let me know if you'd be interested in that. Otherwise, I appreciate your time and hope you have a good one.